We're missing David, but that's all right.
We're missing David. He's at the bakehouse.
Bacon
He's at the
bread.
bakehouse baking
This
bread.
one. I didn't even know what
Yeah.
that means. I was not following the chat, but
I didn't know I didn't. Dude, I was so confused when he said that. I was like, a bakehouse? Like, I didn't know
lake house.
David was into baking bread, dude. I had to Google what a bakehouse
sometimes
was.
you just
I
gotta
was
be
like, is
like,
that what
best
I
of
think
luck,
it is?
man. Like Coop said,
you
live
know.
your best life.
Yeah. Live your best life.
Trust your
Coop
gut.
didn't
How
think
are you
twice.
guys?
Yeah.
How are you guys?
David's at a lake
Yeah?
house, but
Doing pretty
I'm
good,
doing
man. Doing pretty good. I feel like it was a lot going on in crypto this
Lucas,
week.
you're looking
Lot
down at
going
us
on.
like we're your peasants. What is this?
Yep.
God.
I just
Pretty
gotta
good.
stand up right now.
Sometimes you just
I'm
gotta
on the East Coast.
stand on the haters.
All right.
I'm standing on business right now.
Standing on business.
What is
Yeah.
it? What is that hoodie?
I'm back home visiting the parents, so just
Oh,
this
that
is
was
the
Ferrari.
Uniswap Builders Foundation.
Kind
Uniswap
of looks like
Foundation.
Ferrari.
No,
Not bad. And Coop, what's up
Yeah,
with you,
not bad.
Coop?
it's pretty good.
We had a big fundraise
Congrats.
announcement this week. 4.5 mil seed round. Boom. 1KX. Boom. Nascent. Boom.
Adam Levy.
One
Boom.
confirmation. Boom. Adam Levy. Angel check. Boom.
Fall proof.
Feeling pretty good about it. We
boom.
put together like this nice announcement video that I was actually pretty proud of. I feel like I wanted to get creative about finding a good way to introduce the round and make sure that it all felt good and whatnot. So I'm really happy. I feel like it was super well received. It seemed like it trended pretty well on Twitter. You know, had a couple of haters here and there, as you always do, but the ratio of support to haters was quite good. And so on my end, I felt pretty good about it. I mean, what do you guys think? Should we watch this video?
As you pull it
debut
up,
it live
I
on
think
NAC
if you
here?
don't attract the haters, and you're doing something wrong. You're not doing something controversial enough. So pull it up. Let's show the haters a video again.
All right, let's see if we can get this going here. Also share audio. All right, let's see. Can we hear this audio? We just raised 4.5
Yep.
mil to solve one burning question. Let's run it. We just raised 4.5 mil to solve one burning question. How do you prove that you are early to your favorite songs? Well, the truth is, it's really hard to do. You can pull up your old Spotify likes, maybe a ticket to a show, but how do you prove that you're actually there the day that it dropped? Well, that's how we built Coop Records. It's a platform that lets you trade songs from artists like Zed's Dead, San Holo, Gary Can't Swim, and Sammy Vergi, along with over 200 others, with a music portfolio that lets you track the value of those songs in real time. But that's not the point of this video. Let's rewind. When I was in college, all I cared about was finding new music on SoundCloud. That's where I met my co-founder Jake through a blog called This Song Is Sick. We were constantly sharing and discovering new music and providing a platform to let that music shine. But fast forward to my senior year, and despite how much I loved music, I had no clue how I was going to make a living doing it. Enter crypto. That's right, crypto. That weird thing with rug pulls, seed phrases, wallets, and a bunch of other shit that no one really understands. It all was weird to me at first, but then oddly it all started to make sense. From ICOs in 2017 to DeFi in 2019, DAOs in 2020, and then the big one. That's right, NFTs in 2021. The craziest mania and hype cycle that crypto has ever seen to date. And ironically enough, where artists actually touch crypto for the first time in some way, shape, or form. But underneath all that madness, there was actually something special. The ability to stand out and prove that you are a fan. It was through NFTs that I got to meet all my favorite artists and my co-founder, Rami. We teamed up on a drop with Tycho, and the rest was history. So what made people want to invest in Coop Records?
It's your dedication, focus, I think it's very rare.
To be able to predict the future of culture.
Crypto is going to end up touching basically everything. If it's going to be touching culture in any way, music is a huge part of culture.
For me, marrying crypto and music was never about the hype, and it was never about making money. It was about fusing two worlds that naturally benefited one another and giving fans an experience unlike anything I'd ever had before. And more importantly, giving fans a direct way to support the music they loved, all while having proof and upside along the way. So fast forward to 2025. Coop Records 2.0 just went live, but we're slowly chipping away at a new model for fans to buy into the songs that they love and giving them a home to share those songs with friends who are willing to dive into this new world. But it's not without its ups and downs. It's no surprise that music NFTs are a punching bag within crypto. You know what they say, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. We're backed by some of the most dedicated and committed investors in the space. So if you made it this far, welcome to Coop Records.
Welcome.
Let's go.
Welcome.
There it is.
Beautiful Coop.
Who's doing the video editing for you?
We brought on a contractor for this video. Shout out to Akil for sourcing a editor that kind of makes those type of clips. And it's a very hands-on process. It's very much like 10 or 15 iterations, tweak this, tweak that. this cut, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I think that the format of debuting news through video instead of just through text has been really well received. We did that for our 2.0 launch. We did that for the fundraising announcement. And I'm just noticing that the algorithm's just pushing it way further, I think, than they would if I just shared like a fundraising graphic. So
Beautiful.
pretty happy about it.
Beautiful. Congrats, Coop. Long time coming.
Love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and it's been cool to see just like the way that volume has kind of picked up in reflection of the announcement. You know, we've had 10 coins graduate since 2.0 went live about a week ago, and I'm seeing so many more buys of 5 editions, 10 editions, 100 editions, 250 editions, and I think for me that's really encouraging because the entire thesis of 2.0 was basically how do we drive more collectible sales by marrying that to the coin process. And so as all of us on this call know, getting mints in the absence of rewards is very difficult these days. But being able to have this kind of offering where you can get in early on the coin, get some of the pre-sale, and then kind of get this airdrop of the coin in the future, it's been driving a lot of sales and been really encouraging to me because frankly, I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I think it was really like a big shot on goal to just say like, hey, let's try and merge NFTs and tokens. It's been tried a million times before and who knows if it's going to work, but it's definitely working for the purpose that we intended. And so that's been
Mints
great.
in the
and I feel
absence
really
of rewards
stoked
is
about
a really good phrase that then brings me back to the Sound.xyz days of why we were spending 0.1 ETH on mainnet. What incentives and rewards were we promised to spend that much money? Was it the hope that these creators were going to dedicate their lives to being on chain and that we'll see that in an airdrop of some sort? Like, why were we doing that? Mints in the absence of rewards. Why? Why, Coop? We're not like you where we love music.
I mean, Lucas, I saw you in that audience graphic there. That was Daniel Allen Too Close that I took a snapshot of. So you tell me,
Yep.
what was your thesis behind buying that mint?
It's a good question. I think that there's layers to it. I think maybe from the speculative side, I think just waiting for a sound airdrop was the easiest one, and just like producing volume on the platform. But I think more on like the artist, the song level. One, it was like these were at least initially they were one of 25, so they were very rare. You know, like there was only 25. This is compared to like the 10K PFP meta. So ultimately, these were just very scarce assets in terms of like collectibles. And then I think the coolest thing, and maybe the part that resonates with me the most, is that anyone that I supported on Sound in like a meaningful capacity, I actually built like some sort of relationship. Like I know them personally now, or I have their phone number, or they follow me on Instagram or Twitter or something. So it was like kind of a unique or novel way for me to actually get connected with these artists on a new level that wasn't really possible before. And yeah, I mean, I still talk to like a lot of those artists that I supported on Sound. We've had them out in Sun Valley to
Shout
perform
out
many
Dot.
times, like so many of them. So yeah, I mean, I think as a whole, there's financial reasons, but also like patronage reasons of like I just wanted
Why
to
don't you
support
want to
these
support
people
people
early
like
in their
that
career.
anymore? Why only do things for the upside? Just throw a 0.1
I
ETH.
do.
0.1
I
ETH
do
at so
all
many
the time.
people. Is it though? Is it?
Different times. 0.1 ETH,
ETH
different
was
times.
flowing.
Was it
ETH
though?
was flowing
Was
ETH
back
what's
in
was
the
so
day.
flowing
different?
at the
I think it was the share the wealth thing. You know, I think from my perspective, it was like I'm going to speak for myself here. Being in a position where the market was really hot and you did really well trading tokens and DeFi and early NFT gateway drops, whatever it might be, it was fun to share the love. And I think to kind of give back to artists that were willing to take a shot on it. And I think to Lucas's point, there really was this very clear understanding that if you bought something early on, there's a very high likelihood that you would actually get to like meet that artist, build a relationship with them. I think the artists were very into like getting to know their collectors and taking calls with them and doing collector chats. And so, yeah, I think the combination of those things made it feel pretty good. And there was also just like there was a cool energy around it from like the Twitter spaces that were going on and, you know, how fast the drops were selling out. Like it just felt like people were really excited about it. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously can speak to this a little bit more, you know, personally, but I can remember buying so many drops from artists that I've never met before, just solely in the spirit of just wanting to like support them, be like, thanks for using this tech, you know, and optimistically there was going to be like a whole renaissance of like, you know, fans wanting to collect these songs and whatnot. But I think for me, it just really felt good to give back. And I could just see the impact it was making when an artist would make like 2 ETH and they're having trouble paying their rent. It just felt very powerful to support them. So I think that was the
Yeah,
main
I mean,
motivating factor for me.
you were clicking sign signature left and right, sending that ETH like it was no big deal. It's pretty great. But I agree. I think it was the love of giving back, making, and
Yeah.
then passing it down to others. Like I reflect often of why did I buy so many music NFTs? Like I remember playing with the MetaMask gas so that I could enter a transaction faster than someone else just to make that spot. And
Yeah.
there was like the trigger finger competitiveness amongst a random group of people on the internet also trying to get into a drop. And I think maybe Lucas, to your point, it was limited. So maybe there was
Totally.
like, I got to get this. And then once you get it, you're like, wait, why did I get this again? Like what? Like what?
Yeah, I was like using like different. I remember Zerion was like the mobile wallet that people recommended using because you
Yes.
could get the transaction in like half a
Yes.
second sooner before other people and stuff. And hilarious to think there was a time when like buying music
Throwback.
on chain had that level of
Throwback.
energy
Such a
behind
throwback.
it.
Speaking of energy
Yeah.
on the timeline, there's some good energy coming out from Clanker this week. The saga, the acquisition saga. What happened there? Rainbow, boom. We want to buy you. Community, what do you think? Clanker comes out. We don't like this. We're not a fan. Zapper comes out. We love you guys. Here's our offer. It was just like a back and forth bid war of sorts over the Clanker team. Pretty good. Look at all those signatures. So official, the Zap. So good. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting proposal. I think the most interesting part for me was actually just the
Yep.
acquisition of a public token, I guess, in some capacity. And Rainbow earlier had actually announced the launch of their token, or that they were planning to announce or launch their token, RNBW, Rainbow. And I thought the kind of just details of how this proposal would go through was interesting. And actually, I think the bigger part, which kind of came out later, was like, how do you actually execute this proposal on chain? And what does that process look like? But in reality, there was definitely more pushback on the Clanker side from at least the Clanker team than we had anticipated. That said, Clanker was pumping that day. Clanker was up like 40% or something crazy like that. So the market definitely received it pretty well. But at the end of the day, it just didn't seem like the right fit. There was definitely more drama here. But I think as a whole, I was interested in this process, and I actually wanted to see it go through. I think it
Actually,
makes a
what
lot of
was the
sense in the
amount that they
Rainbow
wanted to
product.
acquire majority of the supply for? Was it clear? Or was it just kind of just the market rate at the time?
It was like, we'll acquire the protocol and like the software and maybe the team as well, integrated into Rainbow, and then Clanker holders will just, all the fees and stuff will go to Rainbow, and Clanker holders will get a portion of the Rainbow supply.
Well, let's look at line number 2 here because I think this is what made the token pump. 100% of Clanker's treasury airdropped to Clanker holders. The Clanker treasury is worth more than Clanker. Clanker treasury has like $40 million of ETH in it. And the Clanker's market cap is 32 mil right now. And so I think that the thesis there from traders was, hey, if I buy more Clanker and there's an airdrop, I'm going to get back more in ETH than I currently hold in the token. And so I think that's where people got excited from like the token perspective. Obviously the airdrop's nice, but I think that was the immediate one here. I think that for me, there's a couple things to unpack here. One, strategically for Rainbow, this would have made a lot of sense. You know, they launched a token launch product in the past that I think didn't really get received super well. I think maybe had some very limited success, but it's not like people were launching a lot of coins through Rainbow. And so I think for them wanting to own this like vertical launchpad integration feature with like a focus on mobile felt really strategic for them. But from Clanker's side of things, you got to ask yourself, like, why would they do that? You know, they're well capitalized with the treasury of 40 mil and they've got a lot of stuff that they're working on. And so I definitely see both sides of why it was really smart for Rainbow. I also can understand why Clanker was opposed to it. I think the biggest question that remains here for me is just like, how does Clanker create a stronger relationship between its protocol fees and the token? Because right now, I think it's kind of in this middle ground where Clanker is a great business. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Like I said, they've made about 40 mil in annualized earnings so far, in total earnings so far. And as a holder of Clanker, I want to see that go back into the chart in some way, shape, or form. You look at the way that hype is moving right now. You look at the way that pump is moving right now. They're retiring supply, and I think that's being really well received. And I think there's an opportunity for Clanker to do the same. It doesn't feel like they are interested in doing that. And so I think that's kind of the biggest thing to come out of this proposal is basically just like really trying to look deeper into the relationship between these two things and
So
how you can
crazy.
kind of couple them together better.
It's pretty nuts. It's a lot of money. So simultaneously,
Totally. I mean, it's definitely, I, for one, really enjoyed the energy of watching that play out live on the timeline. I know people were saying like, maybe it wasn't a good move from Rainbow, maybe it wasn't a good move from Clanker, et cetera, et cetera. As a third-party bystander, I enjoyed it. I feel like it gave us like this cool sense of drama. And, you know, we don't really see governance drama happen in crypto anymore. I mean, you can think back to 2019, 2020 DeFi summer, proposals getting pushed through, proposals being, you know, nominated, they were getting shot down by founders and whatnot. And that doesn't really happen anymore. So I think for me, just like the idea of there being a public proposal on Twitter, obviously there's no token voting, was very interesting, but does beg the question, what would happen if there was a vote, you know, and there was like a Clanker vote to see if this proposal was in favor or not of the community. So guess we'll never
Lucas,
know.
you want to share this other tweet
Guess we'll
that
never
I
know.
just posted in the agenda, the last one? A bunch of buys coming in through Coinbase. 12 wallets accumulated almost 18% of the Clanker, 18% of Clanker supply in the last 35 days. I remember chatter
Yeah.
in the investor group chats of like Clanker being something of interest, given it's underperforming, or I don't know if underperforming, rather, what is the word, an underdog compared to the other launch pads out there, given its adoption and given its volume. So this was interesting to see.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about these investor groups that you're in, Chevy?
Different time.
Proprietary.
Yeah.
Proprietary investor group?
Yeah, exactly.
Scouting new
The
tokens on
chain. You know,
DGen chain?
a good amount of us were on that chain and we stuck together thereafter. So laugh all you want. No laughing there.
No laughing here.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we saw, what's it called? Zapper do a fast follow. I don't have that tweet on hand. Was it?
I mean, that was more of
Was
just a
it?
meme.
No.
response,
I think that was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there was nothing of substance in
They're
there.
just
I don't
trolling.
think so.
I'm just like,
Chevy.
Chevy.
I love you, brother.
Chevy.
You're fucking hilarious, man. Chevy would be like the guy who would like look at like an NBA Centel post and be like, "Can you believe this happened?" And then like, "You got Centel."
well,
Yeah, the
I'll tell you
Zapper
what,
one
I would've
was
got
just like
zapped.
we're fans.
They're
Here's
just
a
like, we
summary
like
of the benefits
Clanker.
of a partnership. Clanker and Zapper are both purple. Clanker and Zapper rhyme. Zapper is going to build a product launchpad inside their upcoming app for redacted.
what is this? This is my analysis.
Chevy.
This
That's
is
the-
Chevy,
this
did
is
you read
the
the
this is
proposal?
the got it. Cool.
They are both purple.
Yeah.
Chevy's like, and then Zapper came out with their own proposal. Both apps are purple.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Never a dull day,
Pretty
Chevy.
good.
Never a dull day.
I think this is a bullish proposal.
I got a
if you
good
ask
topic
me.
for us to dive into here.
Go ahead.
Jesse Pollak teasing
Oh,
his
yeah.
upcoming creator coin.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Live
What
on
does
the
doing it
roll-up.
right
Did you guys see that
means?
clip?
Why wait to do
I
it
did see that
right?
clip.
What does that mean?
I think he means doing it under the base app.
Exactly. That's what I think too.
That's what's doing it right. And maybe there's some more novel mechanisms that base app's going to do around this. I'm wondering if they're still is this because like the base app coining all the content is on Zora. I'm assuming the creator coins will happen on Zora in some capacity.
I think it's a safe assumption. I just think right now there's no relationship between a creator coin on Zora and the post that you're making on Base. I think that bridge is like very janky right now. And so I think that Base app supporting creator coins more natively, allowing you to deploy your own creator coin when you join the Base app, and pairing that more deeply with the content that you release on the Base app feels pretty good to me. I also think from like a timing perspective, they're exploring a network token. And so I think that people who are launching creator coins on the Base app or engaging with their creator coins on the Base app, you know, it makes me wonder, as someone that launched my coin on Zora, like how can I better leverage that within the context of the Base app ecosystem? Right now, I still think there's like a bit of like a breakage that happens between the two, but there have been quite a few friends of mine who are actually onboarding to crypto through the Base app. And they're actually not saying like, how do I get on Farcaster? They're just going like, how do I get on? They just say, how do I get on Base? And like, I get them an invite to the mobile app, and that's where they're starting to post for the first time. And then a few friends have been like, okay, well, now that I'm on Base, how do I like get on Farcaster? And I'm like, oh, well, you're actually already on Farcaster because you're already on Base. And kind of the same thing holds true with Zora, of like, you don't really
Mhm.
need to get on Zora once you're on the base app because you're sort of already
Yeah.
on there and kind of getting all the benefits of it too. So it's definitely cool.
So-
It's definitely cool from a high level.
I guess yeah, that was my main question is like if Cooper, you already have your Zora creator coin, like are you going to be able to launch another creator coin on the base app, or is it more just going to be supporting your existing Zora
Supporting.
creator coin? Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my understanding, at least.
That's your understanding. That's your gut feeling.
That's my gut. That's
The
what my
golden
gut
gut.
says. Yeah.
Okay. It's a golden gut.
Yeah, but I have been diving back in and buying some Zora creators in the past week. I think that there's like a good opportunity here with, you know, some of the stuff that's coming up with the base app. I feel like they've been teasing the streaming thing a little bit here and there. So at least on my end, I've been trying to think about like how can I catch this sort of downswing on Zora ahead of them doing anything on like the streaming side or the base app side. And I don't know, my gut says that there's some good opportunities there. So
our base
feels pretty good. Like I bought some Bankless HQ tokens, Lucas.
Lucas
Good old
reminiscing.
Bankless
Nice.
HQ tokens.
Nice.
As we
That
know,
was an
they do love their
accident on-
tokens. They do love
Yeah.
their tokens.
That was I heard that was an accident, but
Who knows? Always an
knows?
accident until it makes you money.
Tokens up.
You know what? I did see you, Coop. I did see you scooping up some creator coins on the Clicker app.
Clicker app.
I don't know. Yeah. I got onboarded to that. Kyle McCollum. New kind of interface like app where you can see other people's trades and people can make comments on it. And give more context, and saw Coop scooping up some creator coins.
Troop with the music NFT.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I
Might
bought a
copy trade
little
that.
Jacob. Bought the Jacob dip. And the thing I like about Clicker is that I just buy on my desktop wallet, and then I get a little push notification on my phone, and it
Mhm.
says comment why you bought within 10 minutes. And it's been fun. I don't do it for every trade, but if there's a trade that I feel like I have a very sound logic behind, I'll just try and drop in a quick comment, maybe add a link there. And yeah, I'm a big advocate of this whole copy trading, social trading thing. I think that there's mixed reviews on it, but tell you what, boys, there's no better feeling than when you buy a small token and you just see the buys come rolling in after. It's no volume. You buy $100, then you see $1,000 in volume come after you, and you go, yeah, that's the stuff right there, man. That's the stuff.
Speaking of copy trading, there was a good tweet yesterday.
Where?
Good tweet saying, "What advice would you give your younger self back when you first got into crypto?" And I started to really think for a bit. You know, I was like, like I really wish I bought that punk. And then you know how I knew about the punks is because Cooper bought one, and my initial reaction was like, Cooper, why'd you just waste 1 ETH on a punk? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That was my immediate reaction. I remember explicitly telling Coop, that's dumb. And you know, just going through that exercise, I realized, you know what? Just stop baiting Coop. And let's just copy trade Coop. I would have done much better. And
That's so funny.
so
You're like, why would you buy a punk? It was like $300. Like, why would you buy a punk when you can have all of these DeFi blue chips? And I was
Yep.
like, fuck the blue chips. The blue chips
the
are
blue
alive.
chips.
Pretty good.
So copy trade Koopa Troopa more is
Pretty
my
good.
advice to my younger self.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think I definitely had the sauce a little bit more back then than I do now, but you know, it speaks to me every now and then. My gut still calls to me in
Well,
these
you do
times
pretty
of
well
need.
still. You still do pretty well for
Like your
trading.
spidey senses.
Yeah. I did miss the whole Avantis run though on base, so I'll be vocal about that. You know, that was a pretty good one that didn't really tap into. We've been doing pretty good though on the Punk strategy coin, on a little bit of Aster, little Binance crime season. But I guess Lucas, what's your thoughts on the Punk strategy coin going from the Punk story there to this Punk strategy coin?
It's my way to cope on not having a punk. You know,
Nice.
so I bought a nice little bag. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty straightforward kind of token, or at least like it feels like a project that finally has like decent, you know, fundamentals behind it, or like, you know, pretty straightforward stuff to understand versus a lot of the meme coins that I've been just getting absolutely burned on Solana.
Yeah.
Where the goal is for using all the fees that are generated from that token to buy floor punks and hold it in a treasury. And then I think they flip them, you know, for like, they just automatically relist the punk for like some percentage above the floor price and just like take the profits from there.
It's crazy that more NFT projects didn't think to do this model prior to that. I mean, you think about like a Pudgy token, you think about like a Doodles token, you think about the Azuki token, and that makes a lot of sense to me. of just using the governance
Yeah.
token to just buy back and just create this treasury. You're basically just retiring the supply of
Do you
the
think,
NFTs.
I mean, that begs the question, do you think Pengu does this? Pudgy Penguins with
Probably
Pengu?
not. I think that they're at a point that they've reached like escape velocity enough where I feel like their main concern is probably just launching the abstract chain over like making sure that the Pudgy token does anything too crazy. But I think for like any smaller NFT collection, like it feels like a good model to look into. I can't say I would like long all these different ones, but it's definitely cool. I wish there was like a larger token works token that encompassed all of their strategies instead of buying like each individual one. But yeah, the Punk one's cool. I saw that they have like a Moonbirds one that they launched. I want to say a Nazuki one too, and maybe a Bored
I mean,
Ape
I would
one
just be
as well.
buying the Punk, just buy the Punk one,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just
Buy
buying
the
the Punk one.
best. I'd maybe consider buying a Pudgy one, but about
Yeah,
it.
I constantly come on
Yeah, it
here
feels pretty
feeling
good.
impressed by you
Feels pretty good.
guys of being able to just keep up with the day to day or hour by hour pulse of the market while also building product and trying to grow your own respective companies. I find it so hard.
Well, I was literally just about to say, I think like Coop, I also resonate with. I haven't been as much on the ball, and I think it's just because like founder mode and just being more focused on the product. But definitely trying to get my
But this
reps
is
in.
like this is
Spend an hour
equally
scrolling around
important. I feel like
the timeline, see
it's
what's
like
going on.
equally important because everything that happens in the market that picks up traction is just another data point for what you could be doing better on your product. So in many ways, it's almost irresponsible for you not to be chronically online and on chain while you're building your company. But at the same time, as you're building product and you're talking to users and trying to figure out what works for you and your investors, like, I don't know, it's just it's always been a like everything that you spend in crypto is in my world still crypto university. Everything that you lose is still your tuition of getting better. Like that's how I see it. And in many ways, it's
Yep.
like if you're not online, you're skipping class in a sense, you know. But the class has like I don't know. That's just it's
Yeah,
a fight. It's a dance, frankly.
I mean, yeah. I was thinking about this earlier this week of it's so much harder to stay up to date when you're building on a product, and I definitely found a lot more appreciation for when I was at Bankless and running the newsletter where my job was literally to know what the hell was going on in the market and just how much more like up to date and up to speed with every single trend that was happening in the market. Like I probably would not have missed the meme coins. I probably wouldn't have missed like the AI run. Like I would have been way more on top of it if I was kind of still in that position where your job is to just know what's hot in the market and like be capitalizing on that.
I
And I
do
think it's
think
definitely much more difficult in this day and age when you're running or building a product.
I don't want to speak for you guys though, but it's given me a lot more peace of mind. And I tweeted something out the other day where I just said like
Yeah.
there's a lot of power in staying in your own lane. And that was coming from the spirit of what we're talking about here, where it's kind of nice now to know that I have such passion and commitment to what we're building that feels like the main thing to really zoom in on. All this trading stuff is just for fun. Like it's just something for fun to do
Right.
on the side. I'm not dependent on trading my
Right.
personal book to
Right.
retire and make generational wealth. It's just like it's a fun video game to play. It feels like instead of like signing on to Fortnite or Call of Duty or something like that, you're just signing on to crypto Twitter
Right.
and seeing what's going on there. So that's at least how I think about it these days. Is like when I miss a trade or like I don't go into something with as much size as I should have, or I get rugged or I lose something, it's like trying not to get too attached to it because I know at the end of the day, the outcome of Coop Records is going to be 100x more important than like the outcome of any trade that I make on Zora.
Just keep building. Just keep building. And speaking of building, look at this transition. YC has a call for on-chain startups. Is this going to be a cohort? I didn't read about this, so I'm wondering if this is a cohort particularly for the on-chain economy. Regardless, it is so exciting and very bullish. I feel like majority of the most successful companies in crypto came out of YC. There's a handful. I think maybe Pump Fund is probably the more recent one that didn't come from YC formally, but still came out of an accelerator format. But this was really cool to see YC having a call for on-chain startups. I love this. And Jesse's there right front and center. Shout out Jesse. It's really great. Coinbase and YC join forces. I love this. What do you guys think about this?
It's great. I think in terms of the cohort question, it's more so that they're prioritizing on-chain companies on base right now for the next winter cohort and beyond. I think it's great. I think that there's a unique opportunity right now where like consumer applications can be, or like just applications as a whole around stable coins and whatnot. There's just a massive opportunity for that, and to build like the next big company built on crypto infrastructure. And yeah, YC is the best accelerator to identify that talent. And it looks like Base or
The
Coinbase
golden
wants to
age of
support them on
crypto.
that. So makes sense.
I think my only commentary would be like, is YC the best incubator to support on-chain talent? Like, I guess my like thought
That's a
here would
yeah,
be,
yeah.
what knowledge does YC bring to the table that makes you well suited to launch a business through them if you're building on chain? I just don't have that answer. I don't
Here's
know
my
the team
hot
that's running
take.
it enough, but yeah.
Yeah, here's my hot take is that it's, if you're building an on-chain company and you have Coinbase or like a base in your corner, like I think you can get to the crypto kind of circle pretty quickly or pretty easily. And YC provides like that next kind of ring outwards of, massive network of like some of the biggest companies in the world. They have mentors across all different verticals. So I think really the big kind of advantage here is like you can on a much easier level break out of just like the crypto concentric circle that a lot of us are stuck in, would be my take. I don't
Hot
think you're
take.
going to get like the most crazy
Yeah.
crypto native mechanisms coming out of YC. But I could see like really smart, powerful stablecoin based
I gotta be
startups
honest, like
coming out of
someone
here
who went through an
for sure.
accelerator for 4 months, the A16Z's crypto accelerator, you're still expected to be the subject expert on everything as it pertains to what you're trying to build. And everything that the accelerator provides is just like a complementary support system of sorts, right? To get connected to people, to move around, and to bring more life to that underlying idea. I wouldn't expect A16Z to come to me or YC to come to me with the next mechanic for monetizing content on the internet. I think that's my responsibility and my duty to figure out as a founder trying to solve a particular problem. But I think to Lucas's point, it's like they bring you the network to add fuel to your fire if something sticks, how to get it in front of the right people at the right time when it need be, basically. So I don't know. I think there is nothing like the YC network. That's like the biggest value add that I hear from a lot of YC alums and current YC founders, that you just can get to anyone, anywhere, at any time, in almost any respect. So this was really cool to see. But I think maybe in the crypto context, I don't know. I'd also question like, why are some of the biggest companies that exist in crypto today, or most successful ones that we see on like the 24-hour fee generation DeFi Llama leaderboard that we saw? Maybe I'm pretty sure a lot of them came from YC, or at least the more recent ones that we've heard of, for what it's worth, and even some of the legacy ones as well. So I don't know, they're doing something right. I mean, they're doing something right. What do you guys think?
Hot take is like YC as a whole is definitely more, I'm not going to say it's washed, but it's definitely more washed than it was in the early, 2010s, I guess. 2010 to 20, probably 17 is like prime YC time. And honestly,
Mr. Hot
most of
Take
the
out here.
exits and most of the like the major companies were from that time period.
Hot take. I don't have a
All
take.
right, respect. Let's drive through the rest of the leaderboard, the rest of the agenda. We have base app.
Bro's been clicking so
Yeah.
much. Everything's in a
All I
leaderboard to
see
him.
is leaderboard. I kid you guys not. It's literally all I see.
Need the streak.
This is the rage bait of the week right here. Tom Lee's ETH thesis, Lordly,
Shame that Devin isn't
beloved
here.
Lordly. His ETH thesis is retarded.
This is an article that only go viral in crypto. Like,
This is good rage bait,
why?
honestly.
No.
Did any of you guys read this article?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. I am the only person that did their
Right,
homework.
buddy.
Effectively, Andrew Kang here is
Mr.
saying,
Robot. iRobot.
I'm iRobot right now.
No, Andrew Kang.
Oh, okay, Andrew Kang. Gotcha. Pretty much just laying out why Tom Lee is retarded in his thesis. I think as a whole, this is like easily refutable on so many levels. But one of the main ones is like Stablecoin and RWA adoption isn't actually driving any value accrual to ETH. His thesis here is like the amount of tokenized assets on Ethereum is at an all-time high, but transaction fees are at an all-time low. So all the value of these RWAs coming on chain isn't actually driving any sort of transaction fees to Ethereum. That's, the argument against that is that ETH has probably scaled the L1 capacity by like 10x since then. And this is like a forever battle of like, if ETH has exorbitant gas fees, then this chain can't scale. And like, if the gas fees are too low, people are just like, oh, no one's using the chain. But in reality, it's like, it's a mix of ETH is just scaling and outscaled the amount of demand that there is for block space today. Don't agree with this one. Digital oil comparison was the second point. Pretty much that Dom Lee makes this big comparison that ETH is digital oil. Andrew Kang here says that oil has been a commodity that hasn't changed its price over the last really ever. In reality, if you look at the data, like oil in 1950 was $1.75 or something a barrel. And now it's $75 a barrel. So it's like it has changed in some capacity. What the inflation adjusted price for that oil, who knows? Third point here, institutions will buy and stake ETH to contribute to the security of the network in which they are tokenizing their assets as operating capital. Andrew Kang here says that banks today or like institutions don't buy oil, right, to like consume energy or something. Like they just kind of, it's the idea that like an institution is going to come in and buy ETH to use ETH is like that same comparison that like Morgan Stanley's coming in to buy oil to keep their like lights fueled on, turned on, right, in the bank. And then the fifth one is technical analysis. Who gives a shit about this? Ridiculous. I think as a whole, just like a lot of rage bait. Yeah, we've read the article, dude. We read the article. Someone did their homework. Ridiculous. What do you guys think?
I do question the narrative that gets ETH to 10K this cycle. I wonder about that. As someone who has been perma long ETH and wants to see an ETH all-time high, when we got to 4,800 the other week, it felt a little too good to be true. A little too good to be true. And I think I wonder, how do we get to that next leg up for ETH? And I think that a common consensus that it's all going to be fueled by institutions. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that feels true to the spirit of my 1 ETH punk buy back in 2020. So I think I'm trying to think about like, what is the narrative that gets us there? Because if you look at these bigger tokens, like whether it be a Hyperliquid or even a Solana or something like that, I think you're seeing that the revenue the network is generating is pretty substantial. And I think that ETH feels like a public good to me. Like it feels like this incredibly neutral network, which is great for a bunch of reasons. But I think the reason that it might not be good is I don't see there being like a clear narrative or spearheaded attempt at like value accrual or any of these things. And, maybe I'm speaking a little bit out of turn here, but it's hard to go to your friends and tell them to buy ETH these days. Maybe you guys feel differently, but I think that narrative is not as strong as it used to be. And so I do wonder what the next leg up looks like that gets us to that new wave that gets people excited in ETH as an asset again.
Specifically on the point of institutions coming and buying Ethereum, you don't like it because of like the ideology around it, or you don't think it's actually going to happen?
It's hard for me to sink into that as something that I can track the sentiment and belief in. Like you can say that, right? Institutions are going to buy it, but like that's very different from like your friends buying ETH and you being able to get like a taste and a feel for that, of that being like a very tangible thing. The institutional angle feels very removed to me, where I don't have any relationship to institutional finance. And so expecting my bags to go up because larger banks and institutions are buying it is it's a weird thing to bet on as someone that's not exposed to it on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, you can track like ETF inflows and all that stuff if you want.
That's what I'm saying. That feels very foreign to me. Like the idea of buying crypto with the hope that something goes up because there's like ETF inflows is like, I don't know. It just feels weird. I don't know how to say that. My gut says it's weird.
I mean, that's what's driving Bitcoin, the $2 trillion plus valuation.
That's just what my gut says, Lucas. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not.
My gut says it feels weird.
I'm not going to.
Two episodes ago, you were hitting me with a 7 to 10K. Now it feels weird.
I still am hoping that happens. I just
Hoping.
who knows?
Can't.
I mean, I think the narrative's pretty clear for me of Ethereum is a network that has not been offline in 10 years. It has 24/7 uptime. And larger players are going to use that to tokenize their assets and come on chain.
Where's the swag, Lucas? Where's the swag around
what do you
ETH these
want,
days?
dude?
That's my main point.
That is the
That's
swag.
the crux of this
That's the
conversation.
swag, dude. Ethereum is not this like $10 billion, $100 billion asset that, you know, you can fucking launch a shitcoin and like have everyone be loving it, or like Bored Apes. You know, it's a $500 billion asset. For it to go to trillions of dollars, it needs institutional money. Plain and simple. I don't know, like it's not that hard. Like Bored Apes ain't gonna send
you
ETH to a
forgot to wear
trillion.
your suit today.
ETH is not going to $1 trillion off of a Bored Ape or like any sort of
button up that tie.
Dude, I
tighten
might.
that tie.
Dude, it's just what it is. I don't know.
Mr. Institution
Hold
over
on,
here.
you don't think there's
It's not that
you
I'm
don't
Mr.
think there's any
Institution. I'm
sense
just
to
being
what he's saying.
realistic. I'm just being.
Got it.
I'm rage baiting.
In other words, he completely agrees with you.
Lucas is retarded. Lucas's ETH
Lucas
thesis
is retarded.
is retarded. Yes, thank you.
Look,
All right.
I'll say it another way. You got $10,000. You're coming into crypto on day one. How much of that are you putting in ETH versus other things?
Who cares? A $10,000 buy is not sending us to 10K ETH.
I know. I'm just saying, like, proverbially, right? This is the way I think about crypto. Is like when my friends come to me and they ask me how to get involved with crypto and they ask me what to buy, I have specific tokens that I tell them to buy that I think are safe and good to go. My dry cleaner is always asking me every time I go in, Coop, what token should I buy? And you know what I'm telling him? I'm saying, make sure you got some Bitcoin. And I said, next time I see you, make sure you got some hype and you got some pump. Look into it. Let me know what you think. Let's chat about it next time. I'm not going to my dry cleaner and telling him to buy ETH. Now, you could say that that's retarded, but I think from a psychological level, the momentum in crypto is tightly coupled to what coins people think are cool in crypto and in the real world. I still think that ETH has yet to become cool in the eyes of crypto. And I also don't think that it's cool in the eyes of real people, because the cool parts of ETH are Base, which is exploring network token, are creator coins, Zora, etc. And so I think that if you're coming into crypto for the first time, probably not buying ETH, you're buying Zora, or you're buying a token on Base, or you're buying Hyperliquid or Pump. And I think that ETH is just kind of in this like weird spot where I agree, like institutional demand is fueling it for sure, but where's the swag, man? Where's the swag?
It can't have swag at $1 trillion asset. Dude.
Bitcoin's got swag.
Bitcoin's got institutional swag. Yeah.
No.
What do you
It
mean?
does have that. It does have that, but it also has like I'm gonna retire on this
like
Bitcoin, you know? Like it's cool to have a Bitcoin. It ain't cool to have 100 ETH. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I think if you go around saying you have 100 ETH, I think people would be like, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just what my gut says. I don't mean to deter us too much here.
I don't disagree that like ETH doesn't have the swag factor right now. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on a deeper tangent, but we'll save this for offline.
And I do agree that
My
like
deeper
retail
thoughts
is
here.
probably better off buying the pump funds and the hypes and the Solanas or the Zoras or something right now that are higher risk and like actually they're going to outperform. Yeah, it is interesting because like ETH's kind of in that awkward middle of like if you're going for low risk crypto, you're going to buy Bitcoin. If you're going to go high risk, you're going to buy Solana or something like below that. So
That's all I'm saying.
All right, guys.
Okay,
Take it away.
I'm retarded.
Bless you.
That's it for this episode.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
this home.
Thank you for tuning in to my stupidity. Hopefully ETH goes up at some point, but never fade Coop's gut. Thank you for listening to this episode of Not a Cartel. Chevy, I hope that Zapper
I think it's
proposal
gonna be the
goes through
best
for
thing.
Clanker.
The
They're
best
both
thing that would happen
purple.
to them.
It's gonna do great. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode 34, 35. Not a Cartel. Find them on chain, online, podstopmedia/Not a Cartel, or any major streaming platform. We're out. Thank you.